Just catch up with Sidewalk Close and Muddy Wolf podcast. This is our new reiteration, I guess, of the Side Boot podcast that we started so many years ago. I think we did like 8 episodes, I want to say.
That it. Felt like more.
And I know, right? But we had special guests. You know, we had people come in, talk about whatever they want to talk about. And I kind of went back on my YouTube and I saw the videos and I'm like, you know what, I'm going to look at it and just like watch this and see what we were doing and if it was any good, or if there was momentum there. And I ended up like really liking it. I watched all 5 episodes that I have on my channel, and that was like 10 hours worth of stuff. And I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And I reached out to you and I was like, hey, these are private between you and me. If you want to remind yourself of the glory days, and you're like, hey, let's I want to start another podcast. So
yeah,
here we are.
Well, like, what was mad about that is, what was it that sparks this? It was the whole Mr. Beast stuff. So all the Mr. Beast controversies come out, and then so I've been watching it on YouTube, and then like a spark went off in my head. I was like, I was talking about Mr. Beast type of people 5 years ago, probably when he started his account. He was probably in the same groups as us. Like, mate, it's possible he was messing about in them little YouTube groups that we was. Yeah. And then the one podcast you sent me was about us talking about the psychology of people starting off of YouTube with like the pretense of giving stuff away and helping people out, but then having like a psychopathic, sociopathic attitude towards it, where if you actually ask them for help and you actually communicate with them, you don't get much back. And I remember saying like that one day, when someone gets big off that method, it's going to be so dangerous with the community they create. And the irony is now, like, we can clip it and put the old clip up. The irony is like, now we're seeing that with Mr. Beast and his like channel. Like, it's almost like I predicted it without trying to sound like,
right, yeah,
like what you call it, but I forgot the word, Machiavellian, like, but yeah, like I almost predicted it because I could see it was almost like a trend with small YouTubers, and then I could see that not many big ones were doing it. Like, they would do giveaways and stuff, but they'd stick to their content. And then it was weird. And then you sent me that the message, and then I was just like, you know what, this is like a sign. Like, I've been believing a lot in signs recently. Like, I passed out a couple of weeks ago, and I had a lot of stuff come to my head, like when I was out of it, and I kind of took that as a sign from like the universe or something, like, so I have been reading a lot into like signs that I'm getting, and I looked at that as like one of the signs as well, and I thought, well, I have been thinking about doing like MMA content, and then when you said that, I was like, mate, no better way of starting again than with the guy that I started out with, you know what I mean?
For sure. And I'm not going to play the whole video. I'm not even going to play the audio from it. But I want to bring this up because it does lend credence to the fact that you did call this out so many years ago. Look what the YouTube auto tag this tactics, right? So this is the false pretense of these guys saying, hey, we're going to give this stuff away. We're going to grow this community. We're going to be great. But it's that psychopathic mentality, that sociopath, I think, is actually the real word. That mentality that is so dangerous that we're seeing with, the Chris Tyson, the Mr. Beast thing. Like, we're seeing it play out, and we talked about this literally 5 years ago. It's just crazy to me to think, like, some of the people we were picking on, some of the people we were like calling out, that could have, in any, not this universe, but any parallel universe, we could have just as easily been talking about Mr. Beast. We could have just as easily been talking about those other random people. So
I won't be surprised if like him or part of his team were in them groups, like, because it was 5 years ago. And like, just to elaborate, so when we started out YouTube, there was a lot of like small YouTube hashtags and stuff, and then I think Side actually started
we are
message group for us all to talk in, and then that's kind of how I noticed it, because I would try and talk to him in private as well, just like a friendly way, and then you just kind of get these weird, like, I don't even know what to call it. It's like automated answers from him. You know what I mean?
Yes, it was very much like this. Yeah, I get exactly what you're saying. Like they didn't, or like when they would pretend to watch your video, it always would say like the same thing.
Yeah.
Like, hey, nice
You know,
video, cool
sorry to
video.
cut you off, but my funniest thing, I tricked a load of him once because I started to notice that. So I made a music video, but I left the audio out, like on purpose. And so it was a whole video, so you could watch it on mute, and you'd think you'd watching a proper video, but really there's no audio. And there's people like, "Oh, what a cool
Great
song, so catchy!" And I was like, "What the fuck are you talking about? Like, there's no music. Like, this is just a video." And then I did a diss track about them all, and then they all were like reacting to it, like, "This is so
a great
cool.
song.
It's so good." And it's like you've not even listened to a word of it because it's all about you.
It's funny. It's like you put the title like this is what I would do. The title would be something that doesn't relate. I think one of them was like garbage time sub for sub, something, just something like that. And then they would just like comment on whatever the title was. It had nothing to do with what the actual content of the video was.
Yeah.
So you could just tell all those fuckers can.
It was funny, man.
Basically.
But yeah, roll the clip if you want, but or if you haven't already. I don't know how this works, but yeah, I just find that funny, man.
Let's take a listen and see if we can hear it here.
Look how white my teeth were. I can't hear it on my end. Can you hear it?
Okay, so you're having trouble hearing it. I'm not sure why that would be, but basically, it's you talking about going into the chat and like supporting each other and stuff like that. Sorry that you can't hear it. I'm not sure why that would be the case.
No, it's fine.
Yeah, it's just it's interesting that we did call it out all those years ago.
It is, and I don't know how to approach that this way around. Like, obviously, we're gonna come across those kind of people, and I think I'm just gonna be sociopathic with them. Like, not in a bad way, but just be like, "Yeah, mate, I know what your game is. Like, you don't need to play it. If you want to help me, you can help me, and I might decide to help you after that." You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that's one of the things we talked about back then, and when I was watching the videos, is we're going to be open and honest. Like, sure, we want you to subscribe, we want you to follow, we want you to throw donations, whatever you want to do. I'm not going to discourage that at all, but don't expect me to do shit in return except to provide quality content that you're going to laugh at, that you're going to think about, and that you're going to watch. Because that's my job.
Yeah, exactly. Like, there might be something in the future where it's like, if you donate this much, we might cover this subject. But that's something we will state. Like, if you want to donate, then that's all what you're doing is donating, man. You're not getting nothing back other than just supporting me. So, and like, don't do it with the hope that, oh, he's going to come into my stream and drop, like, say you drop $5 in mine and expect me to drop $5 in yours, because then how will anyone gain anything? You know what I mean? Right. It's kind of like a crypto scam. Like, there's always a loser at the end of the day.
Yes, and even if you pretend like you're not part of the scam, it's all going to come full circle and bite you in the butt eventually anyway. So
exactly.
Just own up to it.
About that, did you ever get into that? Did you ever get suckered into it, or
crypto? I'm gonna have a little bit of money in there. It's not like a lot,
Yeah, I mean, some of it is legit. Like the more established ones are obviously, like, can't think of ones off me. Is it lithium? That's more of a legit one, isn't it? If
yeah, Ethereum.
Ethereum, that's
obviously it.
Yeah.
But some of those shit coins are just, you're gonna fail if you try to invest your life savings into them.
That's it. And like, the whole Logan Paul thing I find interesting with how he did it with the game, and he never paid out, and then the game never got developed, and that is still, I think he's still getting sued.
I think he got sued. Yeah, I think
he's still fighting it now. I think, because I don't know if you watch him, but do you ever watch CoffeeZilla?
Yes, CoffeeZilla. Did you see where he called out Boogie 2988?
Yeah.
Yes.
You know what? I've been watching the fallout of that, where gave like he tattooed shame or something on his face.
Liar, yeah.
Yeah, and it's
I did a video about it,
yeah, I find that mad. Like, I think that kind of suits the Mr. B stuff, where it's like, oh, so if I put liar on my face, then that will negate people like thinking I fake cancer, and it's like, no, it doesn't. No, like, you still did what you did.
Yeah, but it's part of that psychopathic mentality.